What's up YouTube, it's Dominic with Team Lunox here, and today I'm going to be bringing you my pure branded deck profile post the Chronicles structure deck. The Chronicles structure deck gave this deck a bunch of new utility options, allowing it to rise to the top of the metagame. I believe that pure branded right now is easily positioned in the top 3 decks, and it's kind of matchup dependent, but I think that pure branded is it could be argued as the best deck of the format right now, especially with the D barrier ban. I feel like that was the one card really holding this deck back, and now we no longer have it. So the deck is just much more powerful. I'm gonna get right into the main deck first. It's a 50 card main deck. I like this list a lot. This video would have came out a lot sooner, but I spent a lot of time trying to make a perfect list for everybody, and I had a lot of lists that I just ended up not liking at all, that I felt were too clunky, too bricky, that just didn't feel like they had enough non-engine, just didn't feel like they had enough utility cards in the deck to be able to help you out of weird situations, and this is the list that I came up with in the end. So for the main starters, I have 3 Aluber. This card's standard. There's not really a reason to play any more or less. I think since we're playing 50 cards, we play 3. If we were playing 40, maybe we play 2 to reduce the number of normal summons, but he's your main combo starter, and so I want to play 3. 3 Fawn of Albaz. He's good to open to get into rotation. He's good to have in the grave. He's good to have in the deck. You want 1 copy of him in the grave and 1 copy of him in the deck at all times, and then you want a copy in case you draw into it in a weird game state, or you have to have 1 banished. And with 50 cards, it's not really a brick to open an Albaz, especially with something like a High Spirits. It's still a very valuable card to see in your hand. In addition to that, I play 2 Quem and 2 Cartesia. The second Quem comes up to help you play through Nib. If you get nibbed on your combos, Quem is the most powerful card in the deck in my opinion, besides Branded Fusion. Quem is absolutely absurd. The ability to bring back something every turn is absolutely ridiculous, especially when paired with the new Fallen and the Virtuous, because you're able to summon a Mirror Jade, use your Mirror Jade effect on your own turn to banish one of your useless cards, and then use the Fallen and the Virtuous to send the Mirror Jade by sending another card from your extra deck to the grave, and then use Quem to summon back your Mirror Jade. So then you have 2 effects of fusion monsters in your graveyard, plus you still have your Quem effect to use on your opponent's turn, and your Mirror Jade effect to use on your opponent's turn. For the other monsters, the other branded monsters, I still play 3 Shrouded Dragon. I think this card pairs very well with the High Spirits. I think this card pairs well with Cartesia, pairs well with Quem. Shrouded Dragon is just one of your best extenders. I play 3 Bestial Sarnier, as this is, it's a great hand trap, but really you just want to see it with your engine cards because it lets you dump a branded spell trap and it helps you get to start playing, and a lot of the times you just want to be able to see a way to play the game, and branded can push through most situations. I believe about 95% of the time with this deck, if you get into your deck, if you get to search your deck to start resolving your cards, there is a line for you to be able to win the game. For the one-ofs that I play with the deck, I play the 1 Bestial Rebellion, the 1 Springen's Kit, the 1 Desperate Tragedy, and the 1 Tri-Brigade Mercourier. These are all self-explanatory. I don't think any of these can be cut. Bestial Rebellion's insane to be able to get you to your branded Lost. Springen's Kit, it's a special summon extender. You can search it off of High Spirits a lot at a time. It lets you add an interruption to your end board with searching your branded Retribution, lets you recur back your branded Fusion. Tragedy lets you search, lets you reset your branded Fusion, and Mercourier is the worst brick in the deck. But there are some situations with Quem and a Bestial where you want to normal Quem, dump the Mercourier, banish it with a Bestial, and then use the Mercourier to search. And it's also quite useful to be able to search off of Branded Lost to have another disruption on your end board. You'll see in this build that I'm not playing Foolish Burial to dump Tragedy or Gold Sark to banish either Tragedy or Mercourier. Those are both options that you can consider in the deck, but I valued having the flexible engine cards, as I'll show you later, such as Branded Banishment, over those additional starter options, because I think that the deck has enough starters and extenders with the way that I've built it already, and I'd rather have cards like the Branded Banishment that add just such a higher ceiling to your end board. For the branded spells, I play 3 Branded Opening. I play 3 of the new Fallen and the Virtuous. I play 3 Branded and High Spirits. I play 3 Fusion Deployment, 2 Branded Fusion, and 1 Branded Lost. So 2 Branded Fusion, because it's not that good. I don't really want to open this card. I don't really want to draw this card. This card's not great, honestly. But jokes aside, you always max out on this card, no matter how many copies you have. Like, you just play the max. Whatever's legal, you play that many Branded Fusion. 3 Branded Opening. This card lets you get to your Despia monsters, one of your best starters, because Aluber's one of your best starters, and this doesn't use a normal summon. The downside of having a discard is something like, it's my main problem with the deck, that a lot of the card effects need to discard, which can feel pretty neg sometimes, especially into boards. But the value that you can get off of some of your cards being discarded, having the names in rotation, is honestly just too good for me to think that like you would want to cut down on these cards at all. Because if you can get to an Aluber to get to a Branded Fusion, and your Branded Fusion resolves, it doesn't matter. You could discard the rest of your hand and you still win the game because of how plus Branded Fusion gets you. Fallen in the Virtuous, this card's just pop any face-up card on the field and search any card from your deck, because this allows you to dump any of your fusion monsters. I mentioned Albaz. So it lets you dump an Albion to search a Branded Spell Trap, lets you dump a Titaniclad to summon a Quem, lets you dump a Renbrum to summon an Albaz, lets you dump an Alba Lenatus to search for a Branded Fusion follow-up, lets you dump a Dragon that devours the Dogma to search for a Mercurier, lets you dump any of these options. And honestly, the Fallen in the Virtuous is just an insanely powerful new card. It is not a Monster Reborn for me pre-side, because as you'll see, I don't play an Ecclesia monster in the main deck. But post-side, this does have the option to be a Monster Reborn. We'll get to that in a second. And yeah, this card's insane. I wouldn't play less than 3 of this, especially in the pure build. 3 Branded High Spirits. This card pairs really well with the other cards in my deck, the maxed out Dragon monsters, the Fallen of Albaz, and High Spirits also works with my non-engine Fua. You can discard Fua and dump the Renbrum because it's also a winged beast, and lets you search for Spring and Skit to summon it and search Branded Fusion, so you can play that way, which works with your hand trap if you brick on it, and that's your only option. It's just nice. It doesn't come out very often because normally you draw more ways to play the game than just High Spirits and Fua, but that is an option and very important to know if it comes up. 3 Fusion Deployment, letting you summon Cartesia from decks is insane. Free special summons, we always take those. And you also have the ability to summon Albaz. Also, this new art is so fire. I want QCR so bad at this thing. And then the 1 Branded Lost, it's an end board piece. It protects your plays, searches your Mercurier, makes your board stronger, makes your opponent cry because they don't know what it does. Nobody knows what this card does. It's kind of absurd. Been out for so many years and people still don't know how it actually works. But use your fusion effects as Chainlink 1 if you want to be protected to this. If your effective fusion is not Chainlink 1, you are not protected on a new chain. But if your effective fusion is Chainlink 1 on a new chain, your opponent cannot use anything. For the Branded Traps, I play the 1 Branded Retribution. This has to be played, lets you add back any of your branded spell traps from grave to hand. Necessary, it's in every branded list. Also set in this card, allowing you to put back 2 fusion monsters from grave is quite nice in the ground game, and also having the counter trap against something like a Draco Tail, against a Ketsu Draco Tail, a Rahu Draco Tail, against a Mitsurugi Ritual. Like the actual set effect of this card is kind of underrated in my opinion. And then we also play the Branded Banishment. This card's essentially just super poly, or you can use it and this card gives you 3 Omni Negates, so it hand rips your opponent for 3 essentially, what this card does. And if you can get this on your end board, you hard trade with 3 of your opponent's cards. So I think Branded Banishment's necessary to play. You see I'm done with the engine, so you may have noticed I'm not playing the Branded in red. That's because personally I think it's kind of an awkward card to resolve going second. I think it requires too much setup to search and get the target engraved, and I think that going first I would just much rather set a Branded Banishment or Branded Retribution or a Fallen in the Virtuous instead of setting a Branded in red. I think if you wanted to play Branded in red, you could cut the Branded Banishment for it, and the only argument for that would be that Branded in red is technically activatable going second into a board and Branded Banishment's not. But I think that the trade-off of how much stronger Branded Banishment makes your end board, especially into the board breaker decks, which are still pretty popular this format, I think that the trade-off is well worth it, especially because I'm not playing a card like Ido, which locks your opponent out of the game, which I'll talk about when we get to the side deck, why I don't like Ido at all right now. For the non-engine, I play 3 Super Poly, 3 Fua, 3 Thrust, and then 1 of Talents, 1 of Dark Ruler, 1 of Called By, and 1 Fusion Duplication. I like this non-engine lineup a lot, actually. The 3 Super Poly is absurd. This card is the best board breaker of the format. Super Poly is broken. If you have space, you should play it in any deck, especially the broken Fusion deck. 3 Fua, you want to draw cards because your deck is better than your opponent's, and you know that, and they should know that too, so they should not give you any draws, and then they don't set up a board, and so since your deck is so much better than theirs, you kill them. 3 Thrust. I originally wasn't playing this package because I wanted to keep the build at 45 cards, so I was not on these 5 cards here. But I was sitting there thinking, like, I wanted to get more starters in the deck, but I didn't want to add the Foolish Burial and Gold Sark because I wanted also to have more non-engine for every starter that I added or every extender that I added. And Thrust is either an extender going second or going first because you can search for like a branded fusion. Like if your opponent goes DDD Caesar, negate a branded fusion, and you bait the other Caesar, negate with something else, you can Thrust for another branded fusion, use the branded fusion. So it's an extender. You can search for that. You can search for fusion deployment. Like the Thrust has options in engine. It doesn't have that many options in engine, but we also have cards like Triple Tactics Talent and Dark Ruler No More to be able to access going second to deal with the board. But then also going first, you can set the fusion duplication. So a lot of the times going first, your goal to get to playing is to resolve Sarnier and Shrouded effect in the same turn. But if you are getting hand trapped, you only need to resolve one of them. Then you Thrust, you set fusion duplication, you use this, you target your branded fusion, and then you're off to the races on your opponent's turn. The 1 Talent was in the deck no matter what, because this card's broken going first and going second. Especially with the Thrust, there's no reason to not play the Talent. And then 1 Called By for the Ash Blossom, because every time they draw Ash or Fua or Joel or Veiler or Mourner or Reaper or whatever, we'll just always draw the Called By and the Talent because I'm a better player. But yeah, Called By's nice. There's not much to say about it. It's pretty standard in this deck, I think. For the extra deck's a little bit weird. It's different than most branded players' extra decks. I play 2 Albion, 1 Lobelion. This is standard. You could technically bump up to 3 Albion if you wanted to, but I think if you manage your resources right, you just don't need it. Play 1 Mirror Jade, 1 Titaniclad, 1 Renbrum. I think these cards are all pretty standard. I don't think that there's much that you need to add to just like the basic bare bones, like branded fusions lineup. I am choosing to run the Alba Lenatus and the Dragon that Devours the Dogma. This card's nuts. This card lets you have an infinite recycling. Every single branded video that I'm watching is mentioning how you can summon this, put back 2 cards, put this in the grave, and then use Quem to summon it back, and because it's on special summon, you get to put back 2 more cards. So this plus the Searing Dragon gives you infinite follow-up. I'm sorry, my throat's really dry right now, so if my voice is like cracking a little bit, that's why. But you do just have infinite follow-up with this card now. You have infinite grind. I'm also playing 1 Grand Guignol. This card could be bumped up to 2, depending on how you feel about it. Let me touch on the Alba Lenatus real quick. I don't think I said anything about this. This card into Draco Tail. The reason I'm playing this is because of Draco Tail. If you can get to summoning an Albaz, you can fuse off with their Secretarion, and that's quite useful with something like a fusion deployment, being able to summon an Albaz. And then if they end on like Spheres plus Secretarion, especially post-side, because I know what you're on, you just fuse away both of those things, you summon an Alba Lenatus, and this card's just absurd into being able to break those kind of boards. The 1 Grand Guignol, I don't think you need 2 necessarily. 2 is an option for sure, but it's not mandatory in my opinion, especially depending on the rest of how your build and how your extra deck looks. I play 1 Masquerade because I'm playing 2 Quem. I don't think that I need the Corridi in the extra deck to be able to summon off of the Grand Guignol. I could be wrong. This could easily be replaced with a Corridi, and I would not call anyone out or say that it's wrong to replace this with a Corridi at all. But I like having the Tax Dragon in here to be able to just put my opponent on lower life points and make a kill shot easier. Or if you're not able to quite set up game, but you can go for a Masquerade, it's just insane. Or against Malice, if you can summon this card, because Malice is still a pretty relevant deck and not the easiest matchup for you, to be honest. So if you can summon Masquerade, especially like going second into their board, this Masquerade allows you to just do so much going second. It's really broken. I like the Masquerade a lot. We also play one Chaos Star Source Dragon and one Light and Darkness Dragon Lord. These are like the Light and Dark Dragons. Chaos is easy to make on the opponent's turn. Pop 2, it's pretty nice. I think it's self-explanatory. The Light and Darkness Dragon Lord is what we're summoning most of the time off of the Branded Banishment. If we're not using it to super poly off our opponent's board, we're using it to summon back our Albion Fusion and banish that and a Bestial Rebellion from board to summon this and hand rip our opponent for 3 cards. That is, okay, if anyone doesn't know what this card does, it does not actually hand rip your opponent for 3 cards, but it just negates the first 3 cards activated once it hits the field, or the first 3 effects activated. So in a theoretical scenario where you set up your full board, they don't hand trap you at all. They have 6 cards in hand. This negates the first 3 cards that they activated, so they're down to 3 cards in hand, and you still have like 5 interruptions. So I think that the Light and Darkness Dragon Lord is pretty necessary, especially with the Branded Banishment. This card I do not have. It is in my bulk or on the way. It's actually both. It's in both places, but I just could not find it in time. This is a Predaplant Dragostapelia. I think that this, with the Branded Banishment, allows you to just have extra options, and I like having the Dragostapelia to be able to fuse off some things from your end board into with like a Cartesia. Just being able to go into the Dragostapelia and have like a targeted monster negate is pretty powerful, I think. Side note, this could also be replaced with a Borload Furious Dragon, and I would not hate that either. And then 1 Mundragon and 1 Garura for the Super Poly. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. So why do I not play Ido? I don't play Ido because I think that if you go for the Ido or the Vice King Requiem lock, then your end board, now you're making it so that you lose to board breakers that you otherwise would not lose to. I think that going for these things makes your deck lose to scenarios where you wouldn't lose if you just go for a Branded Banishment combo. And you're also adding in like a fair brick into your deck. Yes, the Banishment is also a brick, but if you draw the Banishment and you end on like a half board, I think drawing the Banishment is better than drawing like an Ido in that scenario. For the side deck, I'm playing 3 Nadir Servant and 1 Dogmatica Ecclesia the Virtuous for going first. The Nadir Servant's a crazy extender, searching the Ecclesia. If you already have a monster on board, you can special the Ecclesia and search for Quem, or you can just Nadir Servant to search for Quem right away. And putting monsters in grave for this deck has never been more valuable with the new spell. You're just able to do so much with this card. For additional cards, I'm playing 1 Harpy's Feather Duster for my Thrust and 3 Forbidden Droplet. These cards all help Yugioh second. And the other card I could not find, unfortunately, 3 Evenly Matched is not with me right now. My friend has them and has not given them back, but that's all right. But 3 Evenly Matched is quite powerful. This format, I think being able to resolve this card into a Draco Tail board is just absurd. And with a deck like this, if you can evenly match and just take them off of their resources, their like follow-up isn't going to be enough to push through and kill you. And then your follow-up is going to be able to overwhelm whatever follow-up they have. Because a lot of these decks in this format have like powerful monsters like Murakumo, Futsu, their Yummy Synchros, their Herald, and then if these cards get banished face down and they only are left with 1 of them, their grind game is kind of terrible, and they only really have 1 monster to rely on, and the rest of their deck doesn't do anything without those other powerful boss monsters. But branded, every card in the deck is a boss monster. Every monster in the deck is a boss monster. It's kind of absurd. So branded doesn't suffer from that same kind of weakness as other decks, where their follow-up is not actually that strong if you can get rid of all of their boss monsters. But with an evenly matched getting rid of all these other decks' boss monsters, your ability to set up a board that's going to stop them from pushing and killing you is going to be very high, and then on the crackback you'll be able to just kill them. I'm also playing 1 Bestial Magma. This card is very good into just like random light and dark decks, into Mitsurugi Pure, Yummy Pure, any Mitsurugi or Yummy variant. And then 3 Joel and Lockbird, hitting more Mitsu, hitting more Yummy, Yummy Mitsu specifically. Just having more ways to be able to go second. That is all for the profile. I hope you enjoyed. We'll have a part 2 combo guide, and I can potentially talk about siding patterns. Leave a like, drop a comment down below to let me know any stuff that you're interested in the future, any more kind of videos that you'd like to see. Thank you for watching to the end. Make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and drop a follow. And I think that's about it. Shout out Team Lunox. Thank you for having me on the channel. Thank you for letting me make these videos and share this information with the community. And that's about it. And I'll see you guys next time.